Hello and welcome back. We're picking where we left off last time in Victoria 3 as the Great Qing in 1.9.7. This run was technically started in 1.9.6, so if there's any bugs related to transferring from one version to the other, that might be why my version is slightly different from yours. I'm also not running with the two most recent DLCs. Putting the phone on silent so it doesn't bother me again. I don't think you heard that, but I heard that. It bothered me. In this part, I think we're going to be focusing on electrification. I delayed electrification a little bit because we're in the middle of a war, and it can be a little tedious to do electrification in the way I tend to do it. So, the first thing to do is usually pick an industry that we're going to electrify. One that's sometimes fairly strong is electrify non-explosives, though explosives will want to be electrified at some point. Engines is sometimes pretty strong because it doubles the amount of engines. And engines is something we produce that you need for electrification, for example. That might be where I start. Yeah, that would seem like a reasonable place to start. We're up at 27%. And the way I usually do it is we go state by state, checking what we have. So we've got 39 motor industries here. Electrifying motor industries cost 30 power each. So there's 39 times 30. So that's about... That's... Well, it's one short of 30 times 40. 30 times 40 would be 1,200, so... We can probably just assume it's 1,200. I don't currently have the steam turbines. That might be... That's actually what we should research next. Move the thing over. I was probably doing mechanical because I probably wanted slaughterhouses and the intensive wool gathering, but no. We're going to want the steam turbines first. Okay, so we know we want it just short of 1,200 here. Right now, the first level of it, is 25 each. Now, there's maybe an argument for holding off until we have the second one, because that's 50 each. There's also a slightly different argument that maybe we just half-build them. Because half-building them should be enough to not have a... Well, to only have a shortage when we do the transition, which should be fine. If we're going 1,200, divided by 50 would be 24? Yeah. Yeah, 24. So we're going to queue up 24 here, and that's one place. Next place, we check to see if we've got... engines. We don't have engines here. No engines here. 13 engines here, so 13 times 30 is 390. So we'll say 400 to keep the math easy. So it's about 8. And this is my process of electrification. There's maybe faster ways to do it. 45 times 30. So 50 times 30 would be 1,500. Removing 150 from it would bring us to 1,350. Divide that by 50. I'm trying to do the math here mentally. You know, this is going to be quicker with the calculator, instead of trying to mental math everything. So 40 times 30, divided by 50, it's like 27 here. That's 27 additional ones. Once we have that tech applied, that will do the doubling for us, so we're actually slightly underbuilding right now. So that should be fine enough. Beijing, no electrical or no engines. No engines. 7. So 4.2. We'll do a full 5. A little bit of round up there, it'll be fine. Soju, no engines. 21. $12.6, so 13 if we're going to round up. Shandong, no engines. Eastern, no engines. Western, no engines. Hunan, no engines. Sichuan, no engines. Hebei, no engines. Western has 4. Okay, 4 is 3. Jinsu. Oh, I can do Jinsu by mental math. That's going to be 2 if we round up. There. Nope. Nope. 33. 990, so that's just short of 20. Which we round up to 20. No. 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 Nope. 14. I'm surprised that it's not hired up all the way with subsidies on. Oops. Divide by 50. Not multiply by 50. Gotta plug the failure in the calculator correctly, because otherwise garbage in, garbage out. Inner Mongolia has 15. 9. Exactly 9. Okay, I was about to say we probably don't have any, and then I see C1. 15.4, so basically 15. Ooh, 11. Okay. And as we get farther down, we're getting fewer and fewer people per state, so most of these are probably not going to have any this far down. God, I'd taken some states from India, Greater Indian region, and those ones had some engines. Okay, so that's enough engines to start. Hopefully by the time we have those engines done, we'll have steam turbines, so that we'll have an effective 50 instead of the 25 that we're currently running. I also, at the moment, only have about 100 universities. I want more universities, so I'm going to go ahead and crank out another. We're going to start with 49. Basically, this is also going to serve as a break in the power plants, so that I know when I've electrified everything to move on to the next thing. Electric arc welding. At this point, I probably do want to reduce Pasto. Who? New Granada. Oh, because they're in the block. That makes sense. Okay. I probably do want to start reducing taxes, because we're definitely generating a lot more revenue than we need. Also to get some positive decrees, or authority for stuff. Okay, slight civil war in one of our subjects. We'll raise the 30, send them out to deal with the West Borneo revolt. I may need to continue expanding our construction pool as taxes rise and become more and more effective. There we are, back over $1 billion. We didn't end the last stream at $1 billion, but we were for a short period of time at $1 billion in the last one. We might pass old age pensions, which would be good. That'll give me one way to boost demand, while suppressing the negative effects of unemployment. Honestly, my queue is bigger than I expected it to be. Also, this is the nice thing of the change they made in the most recent couple of matches, is they dropped the cost of power plants by 50%. Yeah, I should probably start electrifying the next one and not hang around too long. What should I electrify next? Railways wouldn't be too much of a stretch. Yeah, let's do railways next. The railway is also 8 per. So 22, let's say there, times 3, divided by 50. So we're going to want like 2 here. Same sort of thing. Got 2 there. Let's think about the other way around. Where is the breakpoint? So 50 divided by 8. So anything above 12 probably wants 2. That one's actually bad if it wants 3. And so forth. I'm gonna go through the entire list here, and this is so we can electrify the railways. 2. 1 there. And 1 there. And in a lot of places it might just be the equivalent of adding 1 more power plant, which is fine. One, 2, maybe 3. Most extreme situations, I think. 3. Two. 1. One. 1. So on and so forth. Just going through the whole list. You're going to need, let's say 2 for the railways, so you're of course going to need some for the engines, which we already got queued up there. Okay, we're probably far enough down that it's just going to be 1, maybe 2. Actually, yeah, maybe 2 in some cases. So I should check every once in a while, make sure it's the right amount. Yeah, going through the list. Sorry, this is one of those sort of things where it's more thinking necessarily than doing or playing or talking. So I'm going to try to keep talking as much as I can. But yeah, it's mostly going through the entire list one by one and going like, okay, do we need a power plant here? Everywhere we've got a railroad. So, for example, this one doesn't have a railroad. It probably should have a railroad, so we'll go ahead and build it one and build it a power plant to go with it. Does have one railway here. Whoops, not a trade center. Power plant. Kandahar. 1 power plant. Arga has a power plant. Probably may need it, but we'll give it another one. No railway here. P1 railway up, give it another power plant. Has 1 railway, get another power plant. Part of giving them a railway at this point is one of the other things we'll want to come along later is start to turn the automation on for the mines. And that requires transportation, which is mostly going to be provided via the railway. And it's easier to handle the power and stuff, power and transportation. We at least got at least a little bit in the area. So 1 level proverbially. Tuva, Quarta, Xena. No railway here actually, so we did Quarta right. Yeah. And then once again, I'm going to want to put another... Well, it wasn't quite enough last time putting a block in using 49 universities. We're going to basically do the same thing again. That's a bad place to put that. I was thinking, let's upgrade an existing one. But both the existing ones are just bad places. There we go. 1 there. You have 0 because you've got 0 people, probably. Unemployed people, that's why there's not enough logistics there. You already got 2 queued up, you already got 5 queued up. So, I think we're good on the railways. Okay. Okay, let's see that kick in. We do have more... We have all of the power plant tech coming here next. And again, kind of hoping that we get overall new patients. We'll go ahead and attempt public health care again as soon as this passes. or fails. One of the two. I don't need to be making $1 million. Okay, we're gonna have to expand some stuff. I'm not allowed to renegotiate things in that room, so we'll decline. Yeah, I need to reduce... I should reduce revenue. Okay. Interesting, you're not pressuring anyone. Got pretty high radicalism. Let's go ahead and bolster you. It would be nice to get this for multiculturalism. And it supports some of the stuff I may in the future want to move over to. Mainly the free speech laws. Wouldn't necessarily be opposed to Grand Council Republic, but go ahead and bolster that a little bit. And then we'll reduce the tax a little bit. And then I'll probably also just go ahead and give you even more construction. On the other hand, I might not want to spend, assuming we get old age pensions, I might not want to be dealing with the deficit too much, because we'll have to be paying out to the nose for the old age pensions initially. We do have a 13 million unemployed, so as much as I want to get them jobs. Wow, that queue emptied out fast. Okay, so I need more stuff to build. That's the answer. Oh, at this point I should have the electricity in place for the motor industries. There we go. Photographic art doesn't require any power, so we can just walk you over. Let's subsidize the urban centers. That's one way to reduce unemployment. Don't think I'm quite ready to electrify the urban industries. We'll probably move over to doing electrification on the textiles next. There should be a decent demand for that. Nope, there is not a decent demand for that. So electrifying that way, that is something we're apparently able to export, so just driving more clothing exports would not be the worst of plans. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through all the clothing. It's 10 each. So 52 is going to be 520, for example, which is basically another 10 power plants. So on and so forth. I'm going to go through the whole list. 52 again. This is appearing very much a trend. It's almost like I was intentionally trying to get some bigger places up to 50-something, 68. 14. $58, that's another 12. Nope, no clothing there. Don't have clothing everywhere, but I think where I have it pretty big, is what's going on. Yeah, 32 there. It's gonna be like 7. Where I'm on the list. I'm trying to figure out where I am on the list so I can click on the next one on the list so I don't skip any on accident. None there. there. 9, so that's 2. Nope, don't skip some. There, and then there. 138. So 28 power plants, just for one place. Basically 15. So about 3. So some of the more recent changes they've done in electrification are very good for small countries. For very big countries like this, you still run into this problem because it's a local good. Where you have to go state by state. But if you don't have as many states as China here does, then electrification is a lot easier to do. Some of the more changes. There we go. It should be pretty quick down there in the lower ones, because the factory count should be small, even if there's any. Yeah, one's probably good enough, because we already have it for the railway. Yeah. Okay. Wait for that queue to be worked through. We'll just the flat bonus. The spread might have actually been stronger there, but... And I don't mind them spending some right now, because we've got 176 million in reserve. Subsidies shot up because I decided to subsidize the urban centers, and... yeah, the urban centers aren't very profitable, but... We're basically encouraging people to get a job. And encouraging there to be jobs, so... Okay. Once again, the queue is empty. Well, I say empty. The queue is being done, so the next industry to electrify. Oh, I suppose I didn't put any breakers in. Space breakers in. What would I want to put in as a breaker? Just buy a little bit of time. Food wouldn't be too bad. Let's do some berries. $150 each. So we want about 50 groceries. Obviously spread about a bit. Where we have the highest unemployment, lowest, so we'll do like 1, 2. Interesting things. Let's get those ones then. There we go. And let me work a little bit farther down. We're about to hit the point where I can go ahead and turn the next... In fact, I should just turn the next bench on. So the next thing we decided to electrify was the railways. So let's swap the railways over, because the electricity should be everywhere for them. And then it'll probably be... well, we just did textiles, so... explosives next? Yeah, let's do explosives next. And of course we dropped the price of engines, which is nice. Okay. Next thing is, yeah, going to be electrification of explosives. We got 286 of those to electrify, so we just need to figure out where they are. And it is 20 each. So I'm at 2.4, so like 3 power plants each. Every time we come across one. Well, 2 for this. 2 for 6, okay. Another 6 there, so it's another 2. Supposed to 17. 7. Ten explosives. So that's going to be 4. Yeah, 4. Oops. Beijing, Nanjing. John? Nope. Nope. $15. 6. 14. Oh, that should be 6 as well. Maybe. 25 explosives. So 10. Explosives there, no explosives there. 26 there, so that's one of the bigger ones. There. And there. $80. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one in the entire country. 32 power plants just to meet that requirement. So we'll just be short a shortage until we get the coal fire going. $11. So that's 5. Of course, we are waiting for these to hire up, which is they're not the lowest skilled workers working in those places. So. $12. We're probably far enough down that I am unlikely to find big batches of them. 8. I'd say as I keep finding decently sized batches of them. Another 4 there. Nope. Oh, no, that's one. At least there's a decent number of peasants there. Interesting that I've got it subsidized, but it's not costing me any in subsidies yet. It's just not hired up. Yep, okay, so that's all the explosives. I don't want to pick in the queue behind the power plants for the explosives. Can't do rubber, we don't have any local rubber. Can't do lead. Could potentially do glass, but we'll hold off on glass. Any more iron? So we'd want like 120 iron mines. Domestically, there are none. Okay. There are abroad. Set it to... I've got places I can invest into it abroad, but okay, not what we're looking for. Could do more cars. Cars and telephones. So definitely cars, because cars are elevated price while we're exporting it onto the market. And there's something we might want to turn on our urban centers. Automotive industries. So the big cost there is it's 5 rubber, 5 oil. We can stomach some more rubber and oil consumption. So let's say... Yeah, I'm going to splurge. I'm going to say that we want like 100 auto industries. That's with probably about 100 already, so we basically want to double our auto industries. Okay. That should serve as enough of a buffer. Now, a lot of what we're doing is not necessarily generating profit. It's opening up the way for higher efficiency profit. Early throughput. And we'll take the extra loyalists from engineers. Yeah, probably running a little horizontally right now. Because the power plants aren't necessarily particularly revenue generating. Well, except for where the electricity is absurd. And it is kind of going to be absurd until we get steam turbines in 9 months, so... There's old age pensions. So we did end up getting old age pensions in the end. Set that to max. Let's try one more swing at... not public schools. Healthcare. Got 7% for. We got no one against, or we got people against, which is going to be the thing that's going to get hard. Why 40% stall chance? Doesn't make them angry. Okay. We might still want to do that anyway. At least attempt it one more time. If we fail, we could swap the industrialists in. Try to do it that way. Yo, did I not get off commercialized? I never got off commercialized, did I? No, we're still going to try healthcare one last time. We're going to try and do commercialized. We'll do public. Okay. So, of course, we're now paying a lot more in welfare. Well, 167 is not actually a lot for us. Stable supply of power. So, wait, steam turbines. There we go. Okay, so that's a no-brainer. We're going to come over here and say... We did all the math, assuming that it's on coal fire, so we can swap to coal fire. And then that was the break over for the clothing. So we swap the clothing over, I think. I suppose I might need more export capacity. Let's go. Let's see what this looks like. Trade potential. Yeah, thousands of unused, or thousands of trade capacity, okay. Thousands of trade potential. Yeah, so say, saying 4.4, we're only having like 1,000, okay. Some of those states. So let's just go and in each of those big ones. Yep, let's see how that works. French works. So I should just be able to... I think that's just troop upgrade. Yeah, so I should just be able to solve the upgraded trench infantry. So we're jumping from 1 ammo, 2 guns, to 2 ammo, 3 guns. Yeah, we should have a supply, we should just be able to accept that. That's reality. There goes suppressing the subjects. Do we have any that are... First, let's sort by Liberty Desire, big at top. Puppet, puppet, puppet. There's a protectorate we could turn into a puppet if we gave it a little bit of time. Okay, that looks like all the ones we can do that to. How's the power block spreading going? Really isn't. Sulu might be able to be brought around. Assuming I can't do embassy because I already got one? Yeah. So there's one thing I can try to doing is... Well, we still have peasants out here. Do you have any places where we run out of peasantry, we can start trying to attract more people to move there? So we finished the electrification. We're on the brake techs. Brake constructions I put in. So should we come down here for the explosives and turn them over? That's not what I'm looking for. There we are. It's like steel and electric. Street lights are probably next. Now, for the moment, let's swap over to using the local good one. See what our balanced surplus / shortfall is. So that'll be 1,000 and 100, yeah. No, 14, 15, let's say 15. It's going to list like this. Oh, I should really sort my... Yeah, clicked on sorting the wrong one. Okay. Sorting by price, I think. Is it how much deficit? Yeah, that's far enough too. And then I might delay some of the quarter ones I put in. Like so. I mean, public healthcare would be pretty good, well, for the standard of living of our country. Not necessarily the economy, though it might help a little bit, because we do probably have a pretty significant pollution problem in a bunch of places. It doesn't look like that affects the economy. It affects people wanting to move to where we've got economy, a different problem. Gonna have troops over there to deal with that problem. And our tax revenue is definitely increasing, even as my willingness and extent of subsidies is increasing as well. Tax revenue is just outdoing it. Not that we need to subsidize that, but can. Subsidize as well. Skyscrapers identified. I guess Beijing, yeah. Health taxes, yeah, we're on board with paying for that. More power plants done, so let's go ahead and just turn on more electrical requirements. So we're doing that on. I'll turn this one on as well. Got these well subsidized, so it shouldn't be a problem. And then once we're done with that, we'll just, the last thing to electrify will be logging, and then some labor-saving PMs, to be fair. Yeah, unemployment's definitely come down pretty quickly. Beaver, our GDP isn't going up particularly fast, but that's electrification for you. So 10 is 500, and we need 95 here. Nope, even more than that. That's probably electrification demands from, not steel, but from the urban centers kicking in there. Again, I think this is good for the economy in the long run. In the short run, it's kind of a stagnation in the economy is what's going on here. Once again, we'll push the trade centers to the end. Well, at least the ones that aren't in the process of already being built. Standard of living's up. GDP isn't as explosive as it was previously. I'm not sure, because obviously we haven't moved very much in time, right? We've been doing a lot of math, a little bit of gameplay, a lot of math. So I'm not sure how much this is actually improving the GDP. But it is definitely opening us to much more rapid expansion in the future. Oh, minus 20% manufacturing income. That explains why our revenue took a dive. Yeah. Gold reserves are a little bit high, so this is still not concerning from an expenditure standpoint. I was stockpiling a little bit too much money previously. It is worth going back and raising some taxes, though. slow the burn just a little bit. And then from a demand standpoint, we did build a lot of automobiles, and apparently even building those automobiles wasn't enough. Wasn't enough to meet the demand. 2.4 thousand being exported. So that's basically our shortage. Our deficit there is exports. That's fair. We're presumably the main person making them. Resource discovery. Construction throughput would not be bad. Where are we in society? Is there anything I want to dash for in society? Well, I could pick up Zeppelins for the market access, but we'll hold off on that. Yeah, I'm thinking either radios or pneumatic tools. Not too worried about plastics. We'd have to import the oil would be the problem there. I don't think we're going to need local oil to make. Oh, I do have some local oil to make. It's oil demand. Country at the moment. Underwater? Okay, so let's do the oil-consuming tech, which is plastics. There goes the implementation of 2 tiers in. Okay. So this improves welfare income, improves food security, improves dependent income. Really, the only drawback of welfare of Social Security is on old age pensions of the workforce ratio, which is good and bad, depends upon what your unemployment is. And to be fair, we're getting a lot, 5% from trade unions here, so. More authority. I can go ahead and grab more taxes with that. Again, we're running a little bit of deficit, so we'll try to keep the taxes, or keep the burn rate down. Firing up. Yeah, you've fired up. Did not queue enough up. I had not queued up enough. Granted, one of the things that could happen is I build it and then it causes civilian demand response. That's probably what ended up happening there. And every once in a while, we'll revisit how well the electrification's going as we work through the queue here. Okay, the industrialists, once we get public health care, the industrialists will get over this pretty quickly. They'll get our tax revenue back. At which point, we'll probably be really wealthy. I suppose the other thing we're going to do is the moment we're done with this is we're going to go try to swing over to commercialized. So we'll bring the industrialists in the government and do the swing to commercialized. Which will piss the rule folk off, but they're already pissed off, so. Shame, I'd like more tax spread. Conveyors. I'm probably not going to use conveyors. Oil is a luxury well, oil is a luxury we've got right now. Oh, hello Twitch chat. Sorry, I'm not the best at looking at Twitch chat when being buried in the game, so hopefully I haven't left you hanging too high, so I'm back to you. Okay, they decided they didn't want to be in our, or get attracted to our power block anymore. That's because they went antagonistic, presumably. Yeah. Do have, yeah, I have home affairs maxed out. Oh, there's public healthcare. So go ahead and tell public healthcare go to max. What we can do right now. And then with that, I think that's everything I want from the contributions. I'm not really on board with doing more censorship. Already got monarchy. Oh, they got censorship in 2 categories. Okay. Fusion and patriarchal. We've got our hospitals, we got our schools. Could potentially go for worker protections. But there's a pretty strong opposition to that in the form of the industrialists, so let's not. And then, yeah, okay, so you're out, industrialists in. Ah, okay, so the scholar officials also went corporatist, which in theory was helping with what we were just doing. That's why it was so easy to pass. Okay. Yeah, no, we'll bring you in. We're going to take advantage of the fact that we can grant you leadership. So now we have 2 sets of market liberals, where on laissez-faire, they'll help us very quickly pick up commercialized agriculture, I think. Yeah, and just with that change, we're no longer taking the tax avoidance model, so 20% more tax income from industry, and that was almost like $1 million income right there. This law should help empower the trade unions. Is they can now hire from, or now get people from the rural folk. And disempower the rural folk. As you can see, I haven't been keeping them particularly happy. Oh, and looking at the time, this is probably where I should go ahead and put a part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be another part up tomorrow. We're going to focus on still trying to get the GDP up. During this part, I not know how many years we went by. We only gained like 0.2 billion GDP because we're just below 1, and we're just now over. Well, yeah, we're basically 0.2 because we're just below a billion when we started the stream and started the part, and just under 1.2 there. And we didn't. Well, we literally researched, I think, 2 techs. We did steam turbine and mechanized root farming. Everything else was spread to us. We got 2 laws passed, and I think in the long run, those law passes will be very good for standard of living, very good for maintaining GDP, or maintaining demand as we change things up. One thing I'm going to do soon is we're going to start swapping on the labor-saving PMs. We're now at the point where we can do that. Actually, let's go ahead and get intensive wool gathering and mechanized slaughterhouses going. We'll give it a couple weeks just to see how that sticks in the economy. But we've definitely got a lot of potential now that we're most of the way done with electrification, just to rapidly expand various industries. Definitely a lot of potential for more furniture. Okay, there's no more potential to expand fish, but we have definitely a lot of space for more grain and more groceries to be made. Furniture, shipping capacity. There's a couple techs we can do that will improve mining. I'm going to probably ignore the meat mostly. We could make some meat, and there'll be some places where we will make meat. Can make more telephones. We're going to get radio tech soon. That'll be another moneymaker. And otherwise, we're basically going to work on raising the GDP in the next one. Commercialized agriculture is going to be basically the last law change, unless we get like communists, a powerful communist bloc, so we can do that sort of change. Commercialized agriculture here would be real nice, because then I can start to shift from landowners, from the scholar officials, over to the Dutch list being the main power. Also empowering the petite bourgeoisie a little bit. So yeah, that's where I'm going to go ahead and put the part break in. So if you're watching YouTube, part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break, and then we'll get right back to recording. I need to go stretch the legs, but as soon as I'm done with that, we're going to continue recording from where we are. So with that, wish you all the best of luck and a good time until the next part, and bye for now.